Good morning, everybody. Our praise song is number 7, Welcome to This House, in your sing book. You can find the book under your seat.
Welcome to this house, open and affirming. In God's Son, we all are one, hand in hand we stand. Welcome to this house, caring and accepting. In God's Son, we are one. Welcome to this house of God. Welcome to this house. There is room for everyone. All will sing, praises we bring. Let us all be one. Welcome to this house, where God gives the call to serve. All will sing, praises we bring. Welcome to this house of God. Welcome to this house, blessed by word and harmony. Child of God, born from above, know that Christ is love. Welcome to this house, filled with peace and charity. Child of God, born from above, welcome to this house of God.
Welcome to this house, everybody. We're glad to have you join us. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're glad to have you join us as well. You can find today's bulletin, for anybody who wants to, on our app or on our website. So if you're looking at your phone in the middle of service, either you've tweeted something that you just think is brilliant that I've said. Thank you for laughing. Or I figure you're looking at the bulletin. So please, if you're actually playing Pokemon, don't tell me. It's just fine. But the bulletin is on the app or on the website if you want to read from there. Rhythm instruments are in that back corner, so please have at it. Get up anytime and get them. And we won't be having book study this Wednesday because I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to be going to the Midwest to hang out with Marcia's family at a little reunion they're having. And Reverend Vicki Schillhopper will be our guest to speak next week. So come and hear her. She's fantastic. And finally, happy Pride Month. Let us bring ourselves fully to this time and to this place. Take in a deep breath and find yourself in your body. So we've got so many rainbows as decorations, and the rainbow is such a powerful symbol for pride because it speaks of the diversity and more diversity really as we go along. So I want to invite you as you consider your body, what colors of the pride flag would you give different areas of your body based on how they feel? Not that one color is a weak color or a feel-bad color, just like the concentration. Maybe it's a healing color. Maybe it's a joyous color. Maybe it's a color of connection, connecting one part of your body to another. Breathe into all of those colors, all of the ways that your body is, and be thankful for the gift that is you. Breathe into your emotions. Find the colors of all of those emotions and see how they align themselves, how they blend together, where they're more distinct. How much of the flag do you have emotionally inside of you right now? A lot of different things going on. Breathe into that beauty of who you are. Intellectually, too, we have lots of ways that we think, ways that we get stuck in our thought, and ways that we're like, I am a power thinker right now. Where are those colors aligned in your thinking? And how can you celebrate with all the diversity of those colors with your mind? Where are they distinct and where do they blend together? Where do you celebrate all of your thoughts? And are they connected with your emotions? And are your thoughts connected with your body? Can all these colors start to come together into your spirit, the hub? Maybe the spirit is kind of like the cloth that all the colors are laid down on, and so it's saturated, dripping with vibrancy. And maybe some parts of your spirit, the colors haven't quite set into that fabric. Where's that? Take time and be patient. Allow the adjustment of those colors, because they don't just stay stagnant. Unlike a real piece of fabric where you kind of don't want the colors to run. In our isness, it's good for them to move around, to be agile. So bring yourself fully to this time and to this place in all of the ways that you are. Find the gift of the different colors and the variety of experiences that you have and who you bring yourself to be to this time and to this place. Reach out with all of the colors of the flag to everybody else, whether they're in this room or they're watching online. The Spirit doesn't stop in a building. So reach out and let us not only be here fully ourselves, but let us be here as a people together in this time and in this place.
Please join me in our responsive call to worship. This month, we celebrate the diversity of families.
We thank you, God, that you created us.
We find unity together as a diverse family of faith. This month, we celebrate the diversity of gender identities and expressions.
Thank you.
The expansive nature of your creation is a gift and a marvel. We rejoice in the kaleidoscope adventure of life. Let's sing together Praise to the Living God, verses 1 and 4. It's number 8 from the New Century Hymnal, under your seat.
Praise to the living God, the God of love and light, whose word brought forth the myriad suns and set the world to flight, whose infinite design, which we but dimly see, relates on nature, making all the cosmic universe.
37, verses 1 through 8. Jacob settled in the land where his father had lived as an alien, the land of Canaan. This is the story of the family of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was shepherding the flock with his brothers. He was a helper to the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought a bad report of them to their father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than any other of his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he had made him a long robe with sleeves. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably to him. Once Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream that I dreamed. There we were, binding sheaves in the field. Suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright. Then your sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to my sheaf." His brothers said to him, "Are you indeed to reign over us? Are you indeed to have dominion over us?" So they hated him even more because of his dreams and his words.
Our contemporary witness is from the Queer Bible Commentary. Now this commentary is something that's written in different chapters by different people, by different theologians. It's really quite an awesome book. As I often do, I recommend this highly to you. This particular one is written by Michael Carden, and it's from pages 52 through 53. In the Islamic tradition, Joseph is considered to have been extraordinarily beautiful. The Quran records Joseph's story in Surah named for Joseph/Yusuf himself. In Jewish tradition too, Joseph is the image of his mother, fair of form, fair to look at. But this is a transgressive beauty, suspect beauty. As a Stryker points out, Joseph is the darling, a pretty boy, his father's pet. The rabbis say he painted his eyes and walked with a mincing step, showing off the coat of many colors which old Jacob made him. Twirling, hugging himself, a young Hebrew Narcissus. No wonder his brothers hated him. Twirling, mincing, in rainbow garb and with painted eyes, Joseph is a flaming young queen. No wonder his brothers, particularly the sons of Levi, hate him. In the previous parasha, they have even resorted to genocide to salve their wounded male honor. It is no wonder then that they will resent and hate this prettified affront to normative manhood. Queer Bible Commentary. So, we talked a little bit about the story of Joseph. I want to bring up another Bible story. It's the one that's used to help us define what Joseph's garment was that his father Jacob gave him. We're in 2 Samuel in this story, chapter 13, and it tells the story of Tamar and Amnon. So Amnon decided that he loved Tamar, and Tamar was his half-sister. They were both the children of King David. And it wasn't uncommon at the time for half-siblings to marry and to make their own family. But when Amnon approached her, it wasn't the right way. He did it through deceit and through force. She tried to resist. Tamar says to him, "No, my brother, don't. Where could I carry my shame? I beg of you. Speak to the king. He will not withhold me from you." But Amnon wouldn't listen, and he was stronger than her. The story continues that afterward, and I'm not going to be specific because of the children in the room, but afterward, Amnon was seized with a great loathing for Tamar and ordered her to get out. He had his servant that was in the room say, "Take her away, I don't want to see her anymore." And Tamar said, No, this is even worse than what you did before. Don't do this." Too bad, she was sent away. And in response, she put ashes on her head, and it says that she was wearing a long robe with sleeves. For this is how the virgin daughters of the king were clothed in earlier times. So she put the ashes on her head, and she ripped the long robe, and she went away crying. Terrible catastrophe. And I could go into that more, but we're here to talk about the robe. This story is important to Joseph's story because it uses the same word for her long robe with sleeves, katone pasim. Unlike the story of Joseph, though, here we have a description of it. It's the garment the virgin daughters of the king wore. And this is very specific. Now, while sometimes something attributed to men can be used for everyone, think of the pronoun he, right? Often, maybe less than it used to be, but often you see he and it could mean men or it could mean people. It doesn't work the other way around. When you say she, it almost always only means women. You don't say she to mean all y'all. I mean, maybe a little bit now, but mostly in the past. But even so, not so much now. And we could talk about pronoun usage, and I don't want to get off on that tangent either, but just to say that this kind of binary, patriarchal language usage is something progressives have been trying to rectify for a very long time. So back to the robe. The fact that the story about Tamar's robe is decidedly defined as a female garment is why many progressives have concluded that Jacob gave Joseph what they call a princess dress. It's why there's this interpretation of Joseph as being more feminine. Peterson Toscano has a wonderful performance piece about this story on his website. It's a part of his show called Transformations, Transgressing Gender in the Bible. You can actually get it on Amazon. You can go to his website and buy the CD. You can stream it. I know this sounds a little bit like a commercial, and maybe it is because I love him so much. But I've seen him perform live. And the way he brings his characters to life in front of us is riveting and really changes the shape of how we understand some of these stories. So back to Genesis. The gift of this dress to Joseph by his father indicated to his brothers that Jacob loved Joseph more than them. For that, they hated him. It's true that Joseph was by no means perfect, or even was the best sibling, but no one deserves the kind of treatment that he endured. One thing that comes to mind is that Joseph didn't really have very many good role models, given his penchant for finery and his strong personality. For those of us who veer away from the well-worn path society calls status quo, we sometimes get into trouble because we don't have mentors. We don't have directions. While I think it's true that happens, it still doesn't excuse people's hatred and violence. Stereotypes about it. Whether you're someone who enjoys what happens to be the current fashion or you take an abrupt departure from it, we look at each other and try to figure out who we are based on what we see. We look in the mirror, we do the same thing. Our haircuts, our clothes, our mannerisms, all can be ways of conveying who we are to ourselves and who we want to be in this world. Depending on who we are, the signaling of our outward presentation might mean different things to different people. As much as we may try to give signals that mean something specific, they can still be misinterpreted based on somebody else's lens, based on their life experience. We can still be misjudged. The story of Joseph helps me think about the risks and rewards of living in a fully authentic way, not only on the inside, but also out in the open. Pride Month helps me think about that too. There are always going to be people who are angry when others are outwardly different, when you or I are outwardly different. And that's true if you're LGBTQ+, or you're an ally. I have to wonder what makes people so afraid of difference, especially difference that isn't kept bottled inside, but is actualized by honest self-reflection. So, this shirt I'm wearing today, I don't normally dress like this. Not for Sunday. I'm wearing it because I believe the message on it is bigger than it might appear. It says everybody's a little bit gay. On the surface, it might read as if it's stating that everyone has at least a little bit of same-gender loving attraction, and that can be argued by folks who want to argue about that. It's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek statement meant to be provocative, but for me, the message has more depth, more meaning as a metaphor. Everyone is a little bit different. Some of the ways we're different are more easily hid or avoided than others, but We've all got stuff that's not conforming to whatever status quo we're supposed to be conforming to. For some people, being different is scary. Pride Month and Pride celebrations encourage people to let down their shields, to be open and even a little vulnerable about their differences. When we're afraid of our differences, anyone else who isn't feels like a threat, as if they might make our world that we've carefully constructed. There you go, buddy. As if we might make our world that's been carefully constructed kind of crumble at our feet. When we accept that the outward standards are our own invention, we can let our guard down and relax, and stereotypes begin to fade. Deep listening to our own souls and to others starts to get easier. Wearing a princess dress doesn't mean a person's threatened. It just means they like wearing a princess dress. We can take the next step out of curiosity to find out, what else does this person like? I know I may be preaching to the choir. As I got to this point in my writing, I thought, I'm talking to Plymouth. Plymouth knows this stuff. But here at Plymouth, it's the norm for us to see each other and accept each other, to do that deep listening, to care about what the other person is feeling. So what I'm wondering is, do we do it for ourselves? When we look in the mirror, do we give ourselves the same grace, the same curiosity? If I like to do this, if I am this way, if this is what comes to me, to say, okay, I accept that. Who else am I? That's what I want to encourage for us today. That we embrace the unique ways that God has made each of us. Two things, though. First, at places like Plymouth, those of us here might be more comfortable accepting others and less comfortable accepting ourselves. So maybe this is a month or the year that you accept something about yourself. Not saying you have to accept everything. Now I've got to do the work of totally transitioning to accepting my full self. How about something? Add a little something to your love of yourself, because God created you to be who you are, and God is good. And God is so diverse and can handle all of who each of us are. Second, I know that difference isn't celebrated by everyone everywhere. That's why it's good to find communities like this, where we can stand on solid ground, walk around with our head held high, love each other the best we know how, encourage each other and say, actually, I love that about you. So you can go ahead, look in the mirror and go, maybe I can love that about me too. The circle is widening. Communities like ours are growing. I'm confident about that. Specifically here at Plymouth, but in general. We have choices that we can make about how we're out in the world. What I think is important is that we know when we're making those choices. We aren't doing things to express ourselves. To repress ourselves. Sorry, we aren't doing things to repress ourselves. We're making choices to live in a world comfortably, honestly, and safely, as safely as possible. Pride Month encourages and inspires us to be our best self. As a queer person of faith, I want everyone to feel the freedom to wear what they want, in the sense of clothing, and also in that larger, more metaphorical way. Wear who you are. Be on the outside who you know you are on the inside. The more we can lead this kind of authenticity by example, the more others will join us by sharing who they are on the inside. We'll be invited into someone's self. It's about letting our best self rise to the top. When we do that, we can begin to see this glorious diversity of humanity, how it reflects God's own self as holy mystery and sacred creator of mind-blowing proportions. And with that, my friends, peace. So there's a lot of stuff to pray about. Today is the anniversary of the tragedy that happened in Orlando. Take a moment to remember that, send out love from this place and in our hearts. For those who are remembering, and for all the activism that has happened since then. And we also lift up other tragedies like the war in Ukraine. I know that there's many other things in our hearts that we hold, that we're concerned about. The news cycle is reporting on the trial for January 6th. All of it is really hard. There's so much been going on this week. So we lift all these things up to God with our hearts in our hands, kind of float them in the direction of all that is holy and good, to be blessed, for our souls to be comforted, but also for ourselves to be inspired to action, to make that difference in the world that we need to make in our own unique ways, because we all have unique gifts. I ask a blessing on all of us, that we would find those gifts and those passions, find the ways to be hooked in, the way that we can be hooked in, to bring love and mercy and justice to everywhere that we go. And we ask that God be present with us and give us wisdom and courage and vision for all these things. And some of these things are really heavy and hard to think about. There's some other things that are going on that are not quite as urgent, but still will affect our little Plymouth community. Our office manager, Melanie's husband, has found a job in Austin. And we're very happy for them. And we grieve for our own selves. We were hoping that it wasn't going to happen until the end of July, and we were planning a big party to send her off, and there's no time. She's going to be leaving at the end of June, but she's promised that, well, she didn't promise, I didn't ask her to make a promise, but she has said that when she comes to visit, she would let us know, and she could come here on a Sunday, and we could give her a proper send-off. But we send blessings to her and her family, and thankfulness that she has been among us for the years that she has been among us, and love her in her sending. And I encourage you, if you want to write her a note of how much you appreciate everything that she has been to Plymouth, that you do so. But with God's Spirit, we send our hopes and our dreams for that family to be fantastic. And we're grateful for all that she has been to us. I know that in our own families there are things that have changed, heartbreaks and hopes, nightmares and dreams, celebrations and trials. For all these things, we lift up our hearts one to another, bind ourselves together like a woven fabric that we are. And because we do this work together, we lift up our words in this prayer saying, Holy One of blessing, eternally we co-create ourselves in your love. All companionship orientation, all gender identities and expressions, all ways of having family. We celebrate this Pride Month for LGBTQ plus peoples everywhere, knowing that many are still not safe to come out, to be free, to live life abundantly, heal all who are ill in body, mind, heart, or spirit, bind up all wounds, and provide adequate care, extinguish any stigma people are enduring. This month, we celebrate because everyone should be celebrated. We are your body on earth. May our love and hope be sent on the wings of this prayer to all who need refreshing, affirmation, and love's embrace. May it be so.
Each week, we collect two offerings. One is for the church, which goes into our general fund for the running of the church and our ministries. The second is the loose offering, which is sent to a designated charity, which changes each week. If you've brought your offering in person today, you are welcome to drop it in the offering box in the back. It is the glass church near the doors to the narthex. Our loose offering for today will go to SAGE, which is the country's largest and oldest organization dedicated to improving the lives of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender older adults. In partnership with its constituents and allies, SAGE works to achieve a high quality of life for our elders, supporting and advocating for their rights. Each dollar we give helps SAGE look out for our LGBTQ+ elders across the country. With our gift, they help build community and connection, creating safe, welcoming spaces while speaking out for and with older LGBTQ+ people across the country. If you would like to give to our general fund, to the loose offering, or to both, you can use bill pay from your bank, send us a check, use the Plymouth app, or use push pay according to the directions on your screen. As always, thank you for supporting Plymouth and the ministries of the loose offering. We are all one human family.
In your love, you created us.
Through your grace, you reach out to us.
You are great enough to hold us all in your arms.
Help us to open our hearts to the world that you love.
Teach us to weave our lives together.
We yield to Spirit, offering what we have to the greater good.
In this way, each day, we begin again in love.
Let's sing together. Pray, number 122 from the Sing Book, which is under your seats.
For
My beloved, it's time to go from this place to whatever it is that you have next. May it be a place where you feel safe, where you feel like you can be you. May it be a place of love, endurance, comfort, and gentleness. May it be a place of spirit. Go forth in the knowledge that this place offers you all of that through God's mercy and through God's grace. Go forth then in your own power, in your own various colors, in the stripes that you have created to have. And go forth in peace and as peacemakers.